Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our chief guest for today, Shri Piyush Goyal, Minister of Commerce and Industry, Textiles, Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Administration, Government of India. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and a very, very warm welcome to each one of you to the CII Annual Session 2023. May I start the session by inviting Mr. Sanjeev Bajaj, President, Confederation of Indian Industry, to give his welcome remarks and take the session forward.
Morning, friends, and a very warm welcome to this opening of CII's annual session for 2023. This is a very special day for CII every year, and we're very honored that we have Shri Piyush Goyal, our Honorable Minister, with us, and a very warm welcome to him. Over the last year, we have had many opportunities to interact and receive his suggestions, his guidance, his encouragement. And personally, I must confess that he has gone out of the way to support me, accommodating our many requests, often last minute. Normally it happens the other way around, but last minute clearing his agenda to be with us at CII. Even today the minister is not too well, but has made it a point to be here with us at this opening session. Piyush ji has championed India's export mission and led from the front with monthly meetings and with his execution rigor. We have just closed the year with once again record goods exports to a new peak of over $450 billion. And so many of our significant policies, whether it's ROTEP, the new foreign trade policy, our committed promotion of India's growth story, focus on startups or ease of doing business, has been personally led by him. And many of you know the speed with which we are working on our economic trade agreements with multiple countries, again has benefited from his own personal drive. CII over the past year has had the opportunity to work very closely with the minister and travel on several overseas engagements. He chaired the CII Partnership Summit just recently, and his leadership made it one of the largest that we have seen in more than a decade. At this year's annual session event, we have 8 tracks in the areas of future tech, diversity and inclusion, management, careers and livelihood, society, sustainability, and climate change. The past years have seen a period of uninterrupted, unfortunately, disruptions, where we've been grappling first with the global aftermath of the pandemic, then the uncertain geopolitical situation, which is still not ended, and its own impact on economies around the world. In this period, I must admit that India, sometimes we confuse CII and India, that India has handled this situation with sagacity, calm, and displayed the strength of its resilience in its own economics. The year gone by has also been a special year for 2 reasons. We are celebrating the 75th year of our independence, but at the same time, taking on the responsibility to set the roadmap for the next 25. And India also assumed the presidency, as you know, friends, of G20 this year. In this backdrop, it was especially heartening to see our growth of 7% in FY23. This growth has been led by a robust and dynamic domestic consumption demand, rising investment rates, and a surge in private capital expenditure. India's G20 presidency under Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, or One Earth, One Family, One Future, strengthens its footprint in geopolitics and geoeconomics. India is forging towards a path of self-reliance, future-forward, technologically driven, environmentally and socially conscious and an inclusive society. Our agenda has also revolved around the theme of Beyond India at 75, focusing on competitiveness, growth, sustainability, and internationalization. We know that we have a significant task ahead, and within this, I would like to put forward a few key priorities for pushing our future frontiers where government and industry must partner. First, by continuing to create a set of facilitative policy frameworks that promote the ease of doing business, innovation, entrepreneurship, leading towards job creation, and lowering the costs of doing business, we can further unlock the full potential of Indian industry. Second, industry and government must work together to devise strategies in areas such as energy transformation, sustainable mobility, climate finance, and green bonds for green infrastructure. The coming decade is going to not only create challenges, and we can see it all around us with changing weather patterns relating to weather, but also a whole new set of business opportunities, and it is only for us to grasp that. Third, the government should partner with industry for R&D, technology, innovation, and ensure that we create joint partnerships both for enhancing productivity, for more economic growth, and more importantly, for societal gains. And finally, we must work on internationalization of Indian industry. We have a few industry sectors that have led this over the last few decades. But a combination of global factors, and you all know that, so I'm not going to repeat that, but a combination of these global factors has made this real for many more industries. The government has already taken the lead with initiatives like the PLI schemes and others. But it is now the turn for Indian industry to put its own step forward. As we navigate multiple geopolitical complexities, let us ensure that we harness a combination of our focus on technology, innovation, strategic partnerships to drive India's growth and to enhance competitiveness. I thank all delegates present here today for their partnership and look forward to new ideas during these 2 days of our session. May I now request our Honorable Minister, as you know, he's the Minister of Commerce, Industry, Textiles, Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Administration. I'm surprised he still is able to give us time. He's also our opening speaker today. I would now request him for his keynote address. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sanjeev. As you can see, you are very fortunate today. Not that you are getting to go back to Pune and Bhabhi and your daughter are also here to celebrate that, but because with my sore throat, I'm going to be very brief. Congratulations, Dinesh, on taking over as the President of CII. Big responsibility, but I have no doubt you'll do well in that assignment. And all the best, Sanjeev, for a grueling year ahead as Vice President. And then, of course, as you take over, we hope to see you in Delhi more than Kolkata. Chandrajit, you've always been the backbone, pillar, somebody we've looked up to as the leader of the government and India Incorporated interface. And truly a delight to be working with you over the years. My best wishes to you. All the distinguished heads of mission, all the managing committee members, all the distinguished captains of industry, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think Sanjeev was wrong when he said, or when he was using the interplay of India and CII. Because you are the captain of an inclusive India. You are the captain of India Incorporated. And therefore, when CII beckons, I think even at short notice, we are all duty bound to be here today. More so because Sanjeev has not only been a friend, but truly somebody who helped us, along with his team, overcome the pangs of COVID, the Ukraine crisis, and the international uncertain, volatile times that we live in. He steered CII extremely well, gave focused leadership, and amidst these challenging times, to be able to keep the confidence going. I think that's what is CII's strength. That has been your strength. Congratulations on a wonderful year gone by. And I have no doubt you will continue to remain engaged with the team and provide your support, your leadership, given your commitment to India, given your commitment to the nation. Of course, we miss Rahul Bhai. It's only been a little over a year. But I'm so delighted that you have filled your father's shoes. I'm sure he'll be a proud man today. Friends, when we talk of CII, I also think it represents the face of a compelling India. An India which has emerged from the shadows of the past and is today looked upon as the bright spot in the world for very good reasons, for very, very obvious and definable reasons which are known to most of us in this room. We complete 9 years of being in government day after tomorrow. I remember on the 26th of May 2014, when we were sworn into government, we came in with significant stress all around. India was amongst the fragile 5 countries. I remember inflation was high and therefore interest rates were high. I believe you have the RBI governor coming in next. And truly, I must say, over the last 9 years, the journey of bringing the economy back collectively by the government and all its other associated responsible organizations like the RBI and other regulators has been a journey of transformation beyond imagination. And I still remember 9 years ago, in the first 1 or 2 days, discussions were going on and we were recommended by many friends in industry and government and economists also that we should come out with a white paper of where India stands. And logically, it's very nice to berate the past and put all the blame on the past and take the view that let's come out with a white paper, let the world know, look, what we've inherited is a mess, and therefore work towards the future from a very low base of expectation. And I remember Prime Minister Narendra Modi at that point of time taking the bold decision that we cannot open our cards of how serious the economy is, how serious the difficulties are before the world and showcase ourselves to be a underperformer, showcase ourselves to be a weak country. I remember it was a tough call. It's so much easier to remember the past, to speak about the past, to blame it all on the past. And it was not untrue, as most of you in this room will recall. The situation was truly very, very hurtful. The Indian passport did not have a value when we went over our international travels. We were hardly respected as business persons. The hope from India was very low. People expected corruption to be the order of the day. People expected favoritism to be the order of the day. People expected that the government will be populist. And therefore, I still recall at that point of time, there were two choices before us. The choice of taking hard decisions, the choice of going for very, very tough measures to bring the economy back on track, to bring our banking system back on track, to strengthen the morale and confidence of every Indian, of every business person, or just take the approach that we have a business as usual case, we have problems that we have inherited from the past, and it's very difficult to make change. I think Prime Minister Modi, 9 years to the day, took the hard choice, took the choice of bringing the economy back on track, took the choice of structural, fundamental reforms, took the choice of going for the jugular, going for bold measures that the world can see, that the world can witness. And friends, it's truly delightful when we look at our place in the sun today, when we look at an economy where we have high growth rates, fastest growing large economy in the world, low inflation, unimaginably low for the rest of the world, where developed countries, usually having 1 or 2% inflation, saw double-digit inflation. And a country like ours, which traditionally saw double-digit inflation, today in a spot where over 9 years, and an unprecedented 9 years, where our inflation consistently has been about 4.5%. We had a short spike last year because of the Ukraine crisis, but we are back on track in a short period of time, much beyond what many had expected. And I'm happy that it's been respected and recognized by the RBI, who have also taken a pause on the interest rates during the last MPC meeting. We have strong foreign exchange reserves, and very often, I had argued once publicly also, maybe if you have a Q&A, you can look at that issue, whether we should be looking at the amount of foreign exchange reserves based on the number of months import, or we should be looking at our trade deficit or our overall current account deficit and valuing our reserves, juxtaposing it to what we will need in the future. I mean, in the worst case, with whatever difficulties anybody may have, India is comfortable for the next 5 or 6 years, given our forex reserves today, to be able to meet our foreign exchange requirements. Show me any other developing country in the world with such a sweet spot that all of us are in today, that we see the Indian economy in. For the first time in many years, business persons are seeing interest rates in other countries, and developed countries at that, are almost at par with our Indian interest rates. And therefore, I believe this is a compelling case, a compelling story for investments, for growth, for expanding our international outreach, for bringing technology, for bringing innovation into the country. In a way, it's like a QIP situation. If we can focus, in my humble opinion, only on 3 issues: quality, innovation, and our people talent, the sky is the limit to where we can see India in the years to come. It is ours to grab the opportunity. And friends, the global leadership that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been able to bring to India. The fact that the world today recognizes India as the one country which can drive global growth, which can take the world economy on a fast track going forward, is truly something which we've never seen before. Have we ever seen global leadership of the entire developing world or the less developed countries in any hand in the last 75 years? As much as Prime Minister Modi today is considered the leader of the global south, have we seen developed countries ever wish to work with India at the speed and scale at which we are seeing it today? In fact, today the situation is that you were talking about free trade agreements. Well, everybody wants us to fast track an agreement. The free trade part is separate. They want an FTA which is fast track agreement. We are talking to UK, we are talking to Canada, rather not talking, we are negotiating with UK, Canada, all the 27 nations of the European Union, the 4 nations of EFTA, Switzerland, Norway, Liechtenstein, and Iceland, have had extensive discussions with me last Sunday, or was it? I'm losing track now. Yeah, I think only last Sunday. And friends, it was Mother's Day. A Sunday, Mother's Day, in Europe. And you had all 4 countries represented in Brussels, because that's the only time I could give. And all 4 countries' representatives, led by the Swiss Minister Guy Parmelin, were in Europe, were in Brussels, to engage with us over a long session we had. And finally, the minister kept his officials to stay back in Brussels. They had not come prepared. They had flown in only to meet me and go back. And I quipped that maybe the Swiss government should pay for the new wardrobe that all the ladies would be required to buy. That is India for all of us today, friends. We have to choose. It's entirely for us to choose whether we are going to be bold, whether we are going to engage with confidence, or are we going to let this opportunity go by? Friends, free trade agreements are a two-way traffic. I feel very sad when sometimes I'm told we want access in the European market, but please don't allow them to come into our market. Those days are gone. This is a new India. This is an India that engages with the world from a position of strength, with full confidence. We believe in our abilities. We believe in our capabilities. We can take on any challenge on earth. That is India today. You mentioned about export. I would look at export on a larger perspective. We were $500 billion for almost a decade. Give and take $25 billion. You all, and I say this because it was not something that we decided in government. Indian business decided that we are going to go for it. And you kept very ambitious targets year before last. You grew from 500 to 676. And then with all the difficulties the developed world was facing, the recessionary trends, you decided we'll still go for it. And you gave $100 billion growth last year from 676 to 776. Which was unbelievable. Frankly, even I was very concerned, how are we going to achieve growth from such a high base? And at 776, comprising 450 billion of goods and 326 of services, we are just set to go. It's for us, our businesses, to invest. It's for our businesses to engage, to look to the world markets, go out with high quality products, take missions, take delegations, set up large exhibitions. We have the G20 presidency, a fantastic opportunity where the world is looking up to India. Over the next 5 months until end of November, Let's have huge display of the India story, the India strengths, and capture these future frontiers. We are competitive. Nobody can compete with India once we put our heads to it together. We have the best of technologies. Where we don't, we are happy to invite technology to come to India. We are focused on sustainability, which is natural in every Indian. We are intrinsically a nation which believes in sustainability. And we have to internationalize. No country in the world has become a developed nation unless first you think like a developed nation. Second, you engage with the world with confidence. And third, expand your markets with an open mind, with a spirit of engagement. Get into global value chains, supply chains. Become a trusted partner for the rest of the world. And to my mind, the opportunity is ours to lose. We have set a modest target, and I call it modest with full sincerity, for exports by 2030 to be $1 trillion of services and $1 trillion of goods. I have no doubt we are going to achieve it. And look at our import basket. Our import basket largely gets affected by oil. That will have its own trajectory, possibly a lowering trajectory or a downward trend in the years to come. Whereas our export basket has all the things that the world desires. So we will be an economy which will be reporting surpluses in the years to come. And these free trade agreements will only accelerate that process, will help us generate surpluses, will help us keep a strong economy with strong reserves, with strong growth momentum. And therefore, friends, for us, it's an opportunity to take global leadership in business and industry also. Let's once and for all decide. And I would strongly urge the incoming president, let's decide to bury the COVID story. It's history now. Let's decide to live with what's happening in Europe. It's reality now. Let's go forward. There will be challenges. Who's not seen challenges in our life? I don't think there'll be a single person in this room who's not gone through difficult times, personally, professionally, in business. We've all seen that. It comes, and that's where the true strength of a company, of an individual, of leaders is demonstrated. You are talking about our monthly reviews, our COVID period. We never looked at it as something that's going to, the world is going to come to an end. Or like we had in the Asterix and Obelix series, the sky is going to fall on our head. We decided to take it head on. We decided to develop vaccines. After all, 220 crore vaccines, 2.2 billion vaccines being administered in a short span of time, domestically manufactured, supporting over 125 countries with Indian vaccines, most cases free of charge, particularly the developing or less developed countries, providing medicines to the rest of the world whoever needed it. All of these things conspired for us to become global leaders, whether in pharmaceuticals, whether in food, and most importantly, global leaders as a sensitive nation that cares for the world. Aptly reflected in our G20 theme, One Earth, One Family, One Future. And therefore, friends, I'd like to invite all of you. Let's act. And that action is in our confidence to invest, our confidence to have an outreach across the world, our confidence to be able to compete with the best in the world, our ability to be able to understand what's most suitable and best done in India. Maybe there'll be 4 things, as Michael Porter said, where we are not competitive. We don't have the comparative advantage compared to other countries. We don't have to worry about that. We can always get that from wherever. But look for reliable partners in your supply chain for those products also. But there are so many other things that we get from all over the world where India has competitive edge, has technology or can acquire technology, where we can look at the story of Atmanirbharta or self-reliance, which are unnecessary imports, often of low quality and very poor substandard goods, unsafe to use. Let's work together in this spirit of cooperation and collaboration that CII and government have always reflected. Let's take the message to industry, big or small. Let's work together to educate, to enlighten our people, our 140 crore people, that they are our strength. Population today is our biggest strength, a young demography, our democracy, our people talent, the managerial skills and display all over the world, the grit and sheer determination, coupled with the aspiration of 140 crore Indians, is what is going to power the future of India, is going to open future frontiers, is going to make India truly a global power to reckon with. And I invite all of you to work with the government, to work with CII. Let's together make this India's decade, as Prime Minister Modi said, or as he has also said on different occasions, India's 21st century. Thank you very much, friends.
Thank you, Piyush ji, for your warmth to CII and also personally towards me. Thank you for trusting CII and recognizing CII and its contribution. Also for selecting CII as a partner in so many important national projects. For setting strong targets on economic indicators and also creating roadmaps to achieve the same with partnerships with all stakeholders. It's been a wonderful experience working with you over the past year, and we look forward to many more such engagements in this year and beyond. Three critical areas that you called out: quality, innovation, and people talent are key issues that we as CII will focus on. Once again, thank you for being here, for taking the time out. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. May I now request all of you to join me once again in thanking the Honorable Minister for his outstanding keynote.
May I request President CII to kindly hand over a token of appreciation from CII to the Honorable Minister.
You should keep this at your home as a memory for all the good work that you've done for CII.